My family laughed at me for being poor without realizing I covered their bills. "You'll always be a useless nobody," my aunt sneered as they celebrated behind my back. I stayed silent until today. The scent of Aunt Susan's roast fills the air, a deceptive aroma that promises warmth but delivers only the cold sting of family expectations. I'm Ryan, the overlooked son, the silent benefactor in a family where success is the currency of love. Tonight, as I watch them toast to their achievements, I feel the weight of my secret contributions like a stone in my chest. They laugh, they celebrate, but do they truly see me? As I step out into the cool night, the decision to reveal the truth about my support feels like a key turning in a lock. What will happen when I open the door to their reality? The first thing you notice when you walk into my parents' house is the smell. It's not the usual scent of home-cooked meals or the musty aroma of old books. No, it's the distinct, almost overwhelming fragrance of Aunt Susan's famous roast. A dish so potent it could clear a room, or in this case, fill it with a sense of false festivity. I'm Ryan, 32 years old, and I've always been the odd one out in my family. My father, Michael, a retired accountant, and my mother, Linda, a homemaker, have always had this unspoken expectation that I should be more like my siblings. Emily, the golden child, is a high-flying lawyer, and Mark, the prodigy, runs a tech startup that's the talk of the town. Then there's Aunt Susan, who never misses an opportunity to remind us all of her own successes, or, more pointedly, our failures. Today, we're here for my parents' 40th wedding anniversary. The room buzzes with chatter about the latest family achievements, each one more impressive than the last. I sit at the edge of the room, nursing a glass of wine, watching them toast to their success, completely oblivious to the fact that for the past 5 years, I've been their silent benefactor. Every bill, from the electricity to the mortgage on this very house, has been paid by me, the so-called black sheep. They don't know that while they've been busy climbing their ladders of success, I've been quietly ensuring they have a ladder to climb. The irony isn't lost on me as I watch Aunt Susan, her face flushed from the wine, raised her glass with a smug expression. The party is in full swing. Aunt Susan, with her usual smirk, raises her glass. To Michael and Linda, for raising such a successful family, except for one, of course. Laughter echoes around the room, and I feel the familiar sting of their mockery. I decide to leave early, feeling the weight of their words. As I step outside, I hear my mother's voice. "Ryan, where are you going? We haven't even cut the cake yet." "I have some work to do," I lie, knowing full well I'm about to change everything. Driving home, I think about the years of silent support, the thankless contributions. I've kept my financial aid a secret, not out of pride, but because I wanted to see if they would ever recognize my worth on their own. The road ahead stretches like the years of my life, filled with moments where I've been the invisible backbone, the silent pillar. The city lights blur past, each one a reminder of the anonymity I've embraced. I've watched my siblings soar, their achievements celebrated with fanfare, while I've remained in the shadows, my contributions as unseen as the air we breathe. I pull into my driveway, the engine's hum fading into silence. Inside my house, I sit in the quiet, the weight of my decision pressing down like the darkness outside. I've always been the one to step back, to let others shine, but tonight, something within me has shifted. The resolve to reveal my role, to confront the family with the truth of their success grows stronger. I've been the silent benefactor, the unsung hero, but no more. It's time they see me. Back at my apartment, I sit down at my desk, the glow of my computer screen illuminating my face. I open my bank account, the one linked to all their utilities and bills. With a few clicks, I cancel every payment, every automatic transfer. It's a simple act, but it feels like I'm pulling the strings of a grand puppet show, watching from behind the curtain as the performance unfolds. The next morning, my phone vibrates with a call from Emily. "Ryan, did you do something with the utilities? Our electricity just got cut off." Her voice is a mix of confusion and irritation. I feign ignorance, my voice calm and collected. "What? That's strange. Maybe check with the provider? I can almost see her standing in the dark, her frustration mounting. Over the next few days, the calls keep coming. Mark's internet goes down, his voice laced with panic as he explains how his startup can't function without it. My parents' mortgage payment bounces back, and I hear the worry in my father's voice, the man who once thought he had everything under control. Aunt Susan's water is turned off, and her call is the most desperate of all. They're all in a panic, and I watch from the sidelines, silent and unmoved. Then, the moment I've been waiting for arrives. Aunt Susan calls, her voice unusually meek. "Ryan, I'm sorry for what I said at the party. Did you do something with the bills?" There's a tremor in her tone, a vulnerability I've never heard before. I take a deep breath, the weight of my decision heavy on my shoulders. "Yes, Aunt Susan, I did," I admit, my voice steady. "For years, I've been the one paying for your utilities, your bills, your lifestyle. I've been the silent benefactor, the one who made sure you all could keep climbing your ladders of success." There's a pause, a silence so profound it feels like the world has stopped spinning. "But why, Ryan?" she finally asks, her voice barely a whisper. "Because I wanted to see if you would ever recognize my worth on your own. I invited them all to my place under the guise of sorting out the mess." They arrived, confused and somewhat humbled. I had prepared a presentation, detailing every payment, every bill I've covered over the years. As they sat, I started the slideshow. "For the past 5 years, I've been paying your bills," I began, watching their expressions shift from confusion to shock. "I did it because I love you, but also because I wanted to see if you'd ever appreciate me for more than just what I could provide." The room was silent, the weight of my words hanging in the air. My father looked down, ashamed. My mother's eyes were wide with disbelief. Emily and Mark exchanged looks of guilt. I continued, "Every month I've been the one ensuring your lights stayed on, your water flowed, and your internet was up. I've watched you all, from the sidelines, as you celebrated your successes, never once acknowledging the silent support I've given." The screen flashed with images of utility bills, mortgage statements, and even Aunt Susan's spa receipts, all paid by me. I've been the invisible backbone of this family, the one who made sure you could all keep climbing your ladders of success. Aunt Susan, her voice trembling, spoke up. "Ryan, why didn't you tell us? Why keep it a secret?" "Because," I said, my voice steady, "I wanted to see if you would ever recognize my worth on your own. I wanted to know if my value to this family was more than just financial." The silence was palpable, each family member processing the revelation in their own way. My mother, tears in her eyes, reached out to touch my hand. "Ryan, we had no idea. We've been so blind." Emily, her voice cracking, added, "I'm sorry, Ryan. I've been so caught up in my own world. I never saw what you were doing for us." Mark, usually so composed, looked genuinely remorseful. "I didn't realize, Ryan. I thought you were just, well, not contributing." I looked around at their faces, seeing the realization dawn. "I've decided to stop," I continue. "You've taken my support for granted, and now you'll see what life is like without it." The room erupts. My mother pleads, "Ryan, please, we didn't know." Her voice is filled with a mix of confusion and desperation. Aunt Susan, now without her usual bravado, tries to apologize. "I'm sorry, Ryan, I didn't mean it." Her words are shaky, a stark contrast to her typical sharp tongue, but I'm resolute. "I'm not just your financial crutch. I'm your son, your brother, your nephew. And until you can see that, I'm done." My voice echoes with a finality that seems to shake the very foundation of our family dynamics. I stand up, signaling the end of the meeting. They leave, each with their own thoughts, their lives now in disarray. The aftermath of my decision is immediate and palpable. The next day, the silence in my apartment is deafening. No calls from Emily, no texts from Mark, no unexpected visits from Aunt Susan. It's as if I've cut the strings that held our family together, and now they're all falling one by one. Days turn into weeks, and the silence grows heavier. My mother sends a few tentative messages, each one more apologetic than the last. Ryan, we're struggling here. Can we talk? She writes, her words tinged with the pain of realization. I don't respond. Instead, I watch from afar as their lives unravel. Emily's law firm is hit with a lawsuit for negligence, her once impeccable reputation now under scrutiny. Mark's startup, without the internet to keep it running smoothly, loses a major investor, his dreams of tech glory fading into the background noise of failure. Aunt Susan, who once bragged about her lavish lifestyle, now faces foreclosure on her home. Her calls become more frequent, each one more desperate than the last. Ryan, I need your help. I'm sorry for everything, she says, her voice breaking with each word. I sit in my living room, the city lights outside my window casting shadows that dance across the walls. I feel the weeks pass, and the changes are palpable. My parents are forced to dip into their savings, their once comfortable lifestyle now a distant memory. Emily and Mark adjust to a tighter budget, their once carefree spending habits now a thing of the past. Aunt Susan, who used to boast about her lavish lifestyle, learns humility, her sharp tongue now softened by necessity. One evening, there's a knock at my door. It's my father, looking older, more thoughtful. His eyes meet mine, and I see a depth of emotion I hadn't noticed before. Ryan, he begins, his voice heavy with sincerity. We've been talking. We owe you an apology, not just for the money, but for not seeing you. We want to start over if you'll let us. I look at him, seeing the sincerity in his eyes, the lines of worry etched into his face. I want that too, Dad, I reply, my voice firm yet hopeful. But this time, it's on equal terms. No more secrets, no more silent support. We embrace, and I know that while the road ahead might be rocky, it's the beginning of a new chapter where respect isn't bought, but earned. The warmth of his hug feels like a promise, a commitment to change. As the days go by, I watch from a distance. My mother, with her newfound humility, reaches out more often, her messages filled with genuine concern rather than the usual superficial chatter. Emily, once too busy to notice anything beyond her own success, now sends me updates about her, struggles and small victories at work, her tone softer, more appreciative. Mark, in his own way, tries to make amends by sharing his startup's progress, now with a tone of humility and a request for advice rather than boasting. Aunt Susan, perhaps, the most changed, no longer speaks with the arrogance that once defined her. Her calls are less frequent, but when she does call, her voice carries a tone of regret and a desire for reconciliation. Ryan, I've been thinking about what you said, she admits one evening, her voice trembling slightly. I've been blind to your contributions, and I'm sorry for that. Don't forget to subscribe, like, and comment if you enjoyed this story. This will help us create more engaging stories for you.